Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Dina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I
Be
am.
ready to go to London?
I am very excited. We're
Cool.
packing, and yeah, it's our first trip there, so it's gonna be great. Really excited.
That's great.
How about you? Everything going well?
Yeah, overall, pretty good. Not bad. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel's in the new pad. This is their first
Oh,
call from the new
nice.
house, I think.
It's don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. It's a temporary residence here.
Got it.
Looks good. Is that the wall you just painted?
No,
Oh.
it looks so much better than in real life on the camera. No, we painted one room. We've got this like 3-bedroom house. We painted one room, just whitewashed everything, and everything else is just like dingy and nasty. And so it doesn't look too bad in the background, but hopefully I'll have a better office for us next time.
Nice. Well, cool. I'm excited
Yeah.
that you're in and getting settled.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I know a few more will probably wander in. It's good to see you, Mary. Hi, Tina. Great to have you guys here. And let's jam. You know what I thought would be, so we got a few things we want to make sure we announce, but waiting for others to stop in, Rachel, something that'd be fun to do on this call, especially when it's a little lighter, is to just share some wins.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I was interviewing my friend Chris Farrell earlier, and he has a new thing called Reinvent. And it's just a simple idea of like, when you focus on good things that are happening, you notice them more in your mind. It's the bad stuff's always there. I always think about, like, as a comic, you could have a good show and you're standing there, and they like the comics to stand by the door when people leave, right? To say goodbye. And so, like, 99 people will walk by and go, "Wow, that was amazing, man. It was weird." But and then one guy walks by and goes, "Yeah, have a good night." He doesn't even like say anything bad. He just doesn't. And you're like, what about that one guy? I don't know what I did to make him mad. So we all tend to, I think, like, we're naturally focused on things that aren't great, or, so it's important, I think, to balance that, by forcing ourselves, if we need to look for victories. And so let's just go around and share a quick win, something that's happened in the last week or a couple of weeks since we met, and made you feel good. How about you, Dina?
Yesterday, I went to lunch with a couple of those people from the Infinity Festival. And I was telling you about the people that I've been volunteering for a long time. And that still is unresolved. But one of the women that work there, she has a side business, and she takes people on like CES tours and does like white papers and things like that. So I had promised her a long time ago I would do a white paper on media trends for her for free. And she took me up on it like 6 months later. And then I, against my better judgment, I did it for free and I gave it to her. And now it's going to be published soon. But she said that she wanted to hire me now to write a bunch more white papers for her and pay me. So I guess it paid off.
Nice.
But it'll be a way too, I think, where I could do authority content and get paid a little bit of money for it. So it makes me feel better about spending more time on authority content. Like, I totally see the value in it. It's just, it took me a long time to do it, and the challenge, because I'm still new and still not writing probably as quickly as I should. But anyway, so that was kind of refreshing, that it's like I have something in addition to Banyan Hill, for now.
Yeah. Love it. Excellent. How about you, Mary?
Yeah, I just got started writing for Moxie. So I've done 2 Facebook ads for them so far, which is funny because the only Facebook ad experience I have is writing their spec test. So, but the feedback's been really great from
Good. Very good. Isn't it great when you're like, all right, I'm kind of winging it here, but and then you find out your instincts are pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice feedback.
Very good. Love it. How about you, Tina?
Well, I have a bunch of questions besides the one that I had put in the group. But one thing, I would love to be an authority content partner with Dina if you want, because I really liked the challenge, and it kept me doing the authority content and having it done by Friday, because I am so cheap. I am not going to pay everybody $20. You'll lose. So that was a big, that was like great for me, because I did some writing in Medium and I got a bunch of blog posts done, and I found a Medium type voice. So there's that.
Cool.
But I did pick up a job. So I'm writing blog posts. I'm rewriting and revising and editing blog posts for this psychologist, and they're getting posted on Psychology Today. And that's what I want to talk to you about,
Okay, great.
when we get started. But that's a big win for me to actually get paid for something that I'm writing. And if I can ever learn to write quick enough, it will be lucrative. But right now it's taken me like 6 freaking hours to write something that I'm clocking like an hour to 2 hours in my mind. So, so I'm not making any money.
That's okay though, because
but yeah, so, and thank you. I loved The Bad Is Always With Us, because right now, well, just before you said that, I was in like, BITCH mode, ready to just jump across the table and strangle anybody that was sitting in front of me. So, so now I feel much better.
good. Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
got to switch those chemicals sometimes.
Yeah.
So good. Thanks for sharing. We'll dive in. Lisa, we're just sharing one win, just something that comes to mind that reminds us that even though things can be challenging, there's always good stuff going on too.
So I got asked to help. I had a couple months ago, I had helped a B2B copywriting expert co-teach his class. And he liked so much the way that we co-taught together that he asked me to join him for his 9 weeks to B2B mastery class, which is coming up. So I'm excited about that, because it was actually the class I took to start my copywriting journey. So
Isn't that cool?
it's really cool. Yeah.
Love that, especially when you can measure that directly.
Yeah.
Your progress, right? Going from student to teacher.
Yep.
Very cool. Congratulations, Lisa.
Thanks.
Parag, good to see you, friend.
Hey, how are things?
Good, man. Good. One quick win that comes to mind over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I definitely got my outreach process kind of streamlined a lot better. And yeah, getting more calls and stuff lined up as a result. I'm kind of in the process of not an interview process per se, but doing an assignment for one kind of gig that could be a retainer, and have another call coming up with a guy on Friday. So yeah, that's it.
Very good. Excellent. Love to see you taking action after our meetup. So cool. Awesome. Rachel's in her new place. I know that's a big win. And I know we both would share as a win having the meetup a couple of weeks ago here in St. Pete with Lisa and Parag and Tim and Bradley and others. Who am I forgetting? Who is there? Of course, Sarah.
Jody.
And, who?
Jody,
yes, of course.
Melanie,
yeah.
Anita.
Gave an awesome presentation. We laughed, we danced, we thought, we solved, we made plans. It was really, really special. Just so great.
Can I say a little plug on that?
Sure.
It was, I realized after first of all, the 2 days flew. And I realized at the end of the 2 days, nobody had their phones out. Nobody had their laptops out. Nobody was checking out to go do anything else. It was the most engaged. I'm part of lots of masterminds and events and stuff like that. It was the most engaged group of people I have ever seen.
Wow.
So kudos to you guys. It was an amazing experience.
Thank you.
And my mom loved the dancing.
I love dancing with your mom.
She was killing it on the dance floor.
I could have done that all night long. That she was great. Meeting her and her spirit. She was just so fun and easy to hang with, and that's the stuff that you can't. And what's cool about it, everybody, is the night we danced, we didn't even plan to be together that night. That was like, you're on your own night. I outed Rachel for what she was doing that night, going to hang with her dad at a club that I really like. He's like, oh, I think I'm going to follow you. And everybody's like, well, let's all go.
We were laughing because my dad drank a lot, as we all did. And Kevin actually took him home to his house.
I took him home. That was another highlight. Just getting to chill with your dad. I love Lou.
Where the accelerator, well, the dance with your mom and take your dad home.
It was awesome. Well, nobody wanted to stop hanging out. That's the kind of event it was, that everybody was just like, we just aren't ready to say goodbye yet. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool whenever, like, a 2-day thing, the first day everybody's like, I don't know where to sit. I kind of know all these people. I don't really know any of them. And then the next day everybody comes in talking and they know who they want to sit together. And, it's just, it's nothing like it. And so we're going to do more of those. So on that note, please pull out your calendars right now and mark off September
14 through 16.
Dates? Yep. 14 through 16. And now we're going to Rachelstown of Knoxville, Tennessee. And again, it's going to be so cool because not unlike St. Pete, an emerging city with lots of just cool places that aren't like, we ain't hanging out at Applebee's, you know what I mean? We're finding the local flavor. We're going to embrace Rachel's new to the town. And so by then she'll be a leader in that community, I'm sure. But, it's all fresh from her perspective too. And I can't wait to go get a different flavor and experience Knoxville together. And this one's going to be a little bigger. I think we're actually might even open up a few seats to guests outside of Accelerator. So obviously we want everybody from Accelerator there. We'll have some special guests come in,
and then we're going to confirmed so far for special guests. Surprise.
Really? Wow. Yeah. So it'll be, again, we won't overwhelm it with trying to do too many things. We'll leave lots of space. That's what makes them magic. It's the stuff in between in some ways. So, but anyway, it's going to be great. So please mark your calendars and just commit to being there. And thank you, Lisa, for that endorsement. And I hope Parker could say the same. So trust us. Parker came all the way from Ireland, man, to spend 2 days with us. It meant the world to me. And, so yeah, let's make it happen. We'll be telling you lots more about it as it draws closer. Check this out as well. We want to be able to help you guys, since we are copywriters, and we focus so much on, the freelancing aspect and the business things. We don't want to forget about the craft. And so we have asked our longtime member and friend, Brian Zakansky, to lead up the Copy Buddies program with a little bit more direction and determination. And so what we're going to do is, how are we doing it, Rachel? Exactly. We're going to start with a call, I think, starting next month, potentially.
Yeah. So he's actually today going to start diving into the Copy Buddies forum, and he'll make you guys Loom videos and give you critiques in there throughout the week, every week. And then the first one we're going to do is last week of May or first week of June. Is we're going to schedule the first official copy coaching call, and then we'll do those each month going forward after that.
Awesome. So just use it, and like any copy you're working on, or, it could be something from your portfolio. It's just, what I like about having one person do it is we know we can ask 10 people and we'll get 10 different batches of feedback. And it may all be, part of it is developing your filter to which, what of that you want to let through and actually apply. You don't certainly have to apply anything that you get back, but it's just good to exercise that muscle and keep exercising it. And yeah, do what we do here, which is seek to become the best at what we do the way we do it. And so please jump into that form and help us create more momentum there. And then Brian will start doing calls that we hope everybody will attend. And then also, speaking of calls, the co-working calls. So as you know, we've been having our 1 a month co-working call kind of as an experiment. And it's really fun. I believe Dean is hosting this month's, correct?
Yep, next week, next Thursday.
Next Thursday. And so some of you may have attended those. They're really cool. You just hop on, you take literally 10 seconds to say, here's what I'm working on. Everybody turns their cameras off for 45 minutes. We work and then we come back. And it's just something about that accountability, knowing that you're there to focus on your business, your stuff, because it's the thing we put off. But going forward, what we're going to do, we have a member who's starting experimenting with starting a service, which is a virtual co-working service. And he is ultimately wants to do these daily. There's other companies who do this very successfully. And he has offered to create a free and lead a free coaching call for us here. And I believe for all of coaching Copy Chief, right, Rachel? So how are we officially going to switch over to Jack? Are we just going to offer it in addition first?
Yeah, what I'll do is I will, in the accelerator calendar, I will change our event in there to link to where to get the call links, because they're different every time. So you'll just go into that thread, you just click the most recent link when it's time for the co-working call, and we'll add them into the calendar. So this Thursday, thank you, Dina, it's this Thursday, not next Thursday. This Thursday, April 7th, show up and plan to work on your business that hour. Dina's going to host for us. And then after that, we'll start combining them with Jack's calls, which I've heard they're just incredible. We've gotten such great feedback from them so far.
Yeah, he's really good at them, obviously to the point where he's, considering growing it into a business, but he's a member of the community and loves everything we love about it. And so be a good chance is he going to do them weekly? Do we know, Rachel, at first, or?
I think he's starting weekly. So I'll go find that thread now and I'll put it in the chat so you can check it out.
Yeah, just be a good habit to get into, again, because you're there to work on your stuff, and it's just too easy to let that fall to the wayside if we don't do it. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's dive in. So I believe Heather is first in line. Rachel, we'll go with that.
A couple people are sick. I know Jody's sick and Valentina's sick. So they're not going to make it, but yeah, let's dive in with Heather to talk about pricing.
Awesome. Hey, Heather.
Hi.
Our featured copywriter.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so pricing. All right. I have a client and he's been throwing a lot of work our way, and we've cut our teeth on this person. And in some cases, I think I'm billing him fairly for stuff. And in others, he's just getting it at a really good discount. So now we're moving into the really money stuff, the advertorials and VSLs, and he's throwing just everything our way. But I want to charge him fairly for the advertorial, but I'm really struggling with what does that look like? Like, what does that price look like? And I look at all the different training, I see where Rachel will say, oh, somewhere between 3 and 5 or 2,500 plus, but then how do you say that number? Like, how do I say to him, here, $3,000 for that advertorial when it could possibly just completely crap out?
Yeah. That's the thing about it. Yeah. So, it's a couple ways to look at it in this scenario, Heather, where you're, first of all, because you said this would be your first client, right? So he, when you say that, you mean copy client, because he's been paying you to do some stuff, some content, right? Okay. So, I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it. One is, you can find your effective hourly rate, or the one that, you want to make to meet your first goal, right? Have you seen the backstage pricing? Okay. So that's one way to do it, but that can be a little rigid sometimes when you're starting out. What we really want to focus on with first clients is just making it work, getting paid, getting the momentum of doing it. It's important that you get paid for your time, but I almost like to say there's kind of no way to screw it up if somebody's willing to pay you. I mean, believe me, I did. Like I once charged a person, $4,000 and ended up doing every bit of their lunch, including like the lead magnet and everything. It was horrible. I still have a twitch from it, but I learned so much doing it, and mostly what I learned, what a bad client looks like. But no regrets. It's all part of the journey. So here's what I'd like for you to do as your coach is, go through the formality of determining your price based on backstage pricing and your effective hourly rate that you would need to charge if you were filling 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, it would give you the monthly income you're looking for, right? Because then if we know that number, then we're only having to sort of guess how long it's going to take us to do the thing, not what to charge for it. That's the beauty of backstage pricing. It flips it in our head to going, oh my God, because we feel like we're making up numbers, and it's always the hardest thing ever to start a negotiation because somebody's got to say the first number. And sometimes you're thinking the same exact number, sometimes you're 10 miles apart, and it's like, so 500 or $5,000, it's all relative to where you are and who you're talking to. You got to try to get it out of your head, like, what is this person willing to pay? What will they see it, the value in it, right? So to answer your question, like, how do I say that number is, you say it with confidence, but you have to be confident about it. Otherwise, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And so for the first few clients, I think it's important to say a number that you feel is fair, that you're happy getting, and isn't like, oh my God, I'm going to lose sleep if this guy actually pays me $5,000 and I've never written one of these things. You know what I mean? We don't want to keep ourselves up at night because we got away with saying a number that's uncomfortable to us. We want to say, okay, that's really fair. I'm glad they were willing to meet my price, and now we're off and running and doing cool work together.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. When I look at the training with the hourly rate, that kind of blows my mind a little bit because of how long will it actually take me to do the work. So it's been really hard for me to estimate like an hourly rate for myself, but I'll go back and give that a whirl. Is it a bad idea to split the fee and say, especially with an advertorial, 50% you test it. If it does well and you want to use it, then 50% on the
No,
back.
I don't like that. I don't mind splitting the fee to get half up front and half on delivery,
Okay.
because that's just good business when we're virtual and a trust thing. But and I know it's sometimes it's hard to improve a thing that you don't have a scar or a wound around yet, but I can tell you, I used to do that all the time. I would just give away money because I was insecure, and it made me feel better to like, oh, let me give you something. Because you know what I was really doing? I was just paying to take the pressure off myself. But the pressure was only in my head. And so I was just giving money away to people who didn't ask for it, we're transferring our insecurities onto the client, and all they know is what we tell them and what we show them. It's like poker. If we don't have a poker face, they don't know. They have to guess. They have to assume that, what we're saying is true. And so you're not lying. You're not trying to get away with anything here. You're just, you're this is a bit, I hate this term, but is a bit of fake it till you make it thing, where it's not till you make it, it's till you actually get confidence. And so you just gotta, and literally practice the number. Are you going to do it on a call, or is it an email, or what?
Call.
Okay. Okay. So I know this is challenging, but the best thing to do is practice it. Literally say it out loud 20 times. My friend Billy made me do this the first time I was ever going to ask to get paid $1,000 to work a comedy club, because he knew I'd never been paid that before. He made me practice saying, he would say, how much is it? And I'd say, I could do it for, he goes, no, try again. How much is it? It's 1,000. How much the headline for a week? For 1,000. And I just had to keep saying it over and over. It literally one of those things you just have to practice, because otherwise we will that little red light will go off in our brain and we'll kind of freak out and stammer. And they're like, just doesn't feel right to them. Because at the end of the day, Heather, his answer is going to be yes or no, or it's going to be, ugh, that's more than I thought. Could you do it for this? Or is there a way we can work it out? And then you can decide, okay, do I want to change this number somehow? But I always do it with a stipulation. So if you say, let's just stay with 1,000, it's $1,000 to write the editorial. And he goes, whoa, wow, $1,000, my goodness. It's not your job to explain to him why it's worth $1,000. That's your price. And so he could say, okay, is there, could we pay half up front and then measure the results and then potentially, because that feels like a big risk to me. They go, okay, here's the key thing. If you agree to something like that, tell him why you're agreeing to it. Okay, you're not just laying down and giving them what they want. You're saying, because I really believe in your product and we have a working relationship and I enjoy working with you, I'm willing to do that this first time. So let's prove that this can work together. Let's prove it together. And then, they appreciate that. They see that you're sure about your value, but you're willing to give them something to help this process along. Okay. And so if you feel yourself wanting to just give in and say yes, because it feels better to relieve the pressure, fight against that and say, yes, but yes, I will, but we're going to do it this way. Okay. We're going to agree that it's worth 1,000, but I'll reduce your risk by 50%. And if we don't see the kind of return we're expecting, then we can talk about the next one or something like that.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yes, very helpful. Very helpful. Okay.
Practice it. Sometimes the things just, we got to be like actors in the play sometimes. And money's usually the one because it just feels foreign.
I always ask him for a budget and his answer is, what you think is fair, whatever you think is fair. Like, that's not a budget. That's you knowing how undercut my
yeah, exactly.
Lowball myself. That's what that means.
Right. So again, but like I said, don't beat yourself up about it either way, because getting paid to do a thing that you want to make a service is always a good thing.
Yeah.
If you feel like, gee, I've heard Rachel say it can cost this much and I only charged a quarter of that. So what? It's the first one. It's I started very low and you just go incrementally higher. So don't sell yourself short. I want you to practice being a little uncomfortable, but I also don't want you to lose sleep over it. It's just a gig.
Okay. Thank you. That
All
helped.
right.
Thank
Good.
you.
My pleasure. Cool. Tina. All right. So let's talk about these scenarios here.
Okay, so I got a client from Copy Chief. She was
Alright.
looking for someone to rewrite her articles so that she could repost them on Psychology Today. So that's what I'm doing for her. And in some ways it comes very easy to me because I know exactly, what the mindset is, etc. And I did the first one and it was as if I was walking on water. She loved it. And then the second two I did in a totally different voice. And so she wanted me to rewrite them. So that was okay. But so I'm moving along with her. It's like a learning experience and I haven't quite hit my stride yet, but I'm okay with it. The thing that I'm concerned about is like portfolio work, or if I want to apply for a job, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time job or a contract, I can't really put her copy or anything on my portfolio page. How do I work around that?
Is that because of an NDA?
Well, I haven't signed an NDA, but she doesn't want me telling everybody because she's a best-selling author.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know how to work it, and I want to be fair to her, but I also want to be fair to me too, because some of what I'm writing for her is really good.
Yeah,
which
that it is.
Interesting.
Okay, so here's my thought on this. Well, first thing you can do is ask her if it's okay to only put it in your portfolio. And so, of course, compared to putting it on a blog post or social media, it's very few people are going to see it. Two, if she says, no, please don't, then what I would do is just change it enough to where it doesn't mention her or her product specifically. But so, if what, you know what I mean? Like just change it like a movie, it's not McDonald's, it's McDougal's. We know what it is, but it's so just change the names to protect the.
Okay, so these are like 1,000-word articles.
Yeah, but if you just call it a different product or most of the articles not talking directly about the product, probably, right? It's more.
No, it's a mindset, it's psychological stuff,
Have you ever run into this, Rachel, where you had to kind of?
Yeah, I used to. Well, yeah. First of all, these sound kind of like advertorials, Tina, which is a good portfolio piece as well. I used to run into this all the time when I had an agency that wrote advertorials specifically for affiliate marketers, because affiliate marketers are super protective and secretive about their niche because they know competitors are going to discover their keywords and come in and try and like rank higher than them on Google and things. So what I would do, first of all, I would ask, and anytime anyone was comfortable with me sharing, I would absolutely do that because that's the best way you can do it. But what Kevin said as well is if you can say, look, I'm not going to share this publicly, but when I'm applying for projects, are you all right if I share the article privately in a one-on-one conversation? And a lot of people are open to that. But if they're still uncomfortable, what I would do is say, article that did this for health and wellness company or for psychology offer. And you can even talk about, list multiple articles under that guise or under that way of listing them, because you can talk about specifically what they're targeting, the purpose of the article. So sometimes that's even better because you get to fill out your portfolio a little bit more and not have the same client's name all the time, right? You can say psychology article for the purpose of getting new clients, for the purpose of building brand loyalty or educating or building authority, things like that.
Without necessarily naming the articles?
Yeah, I would just say for Psychology Today. That's what I would say. I would list Psychology Today as the name.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not actually listing the articles. I'm just saying I wrote for an author who posted on Psychology Today, or I'll listen to this again.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that makes sense. But what if they then come back and say, well, we want to know exactly what? So could I like whisper it in their ear or something?
I would ask permission if you could share
my
it
name
privately.
isn't on anything either.
Yeah, I would just ask permission. I would think that your author, it would be very rare that someone wouldn't be okay with you having a private conversation with a prospect.
Okay.
And showing them the piece. They just don't want it like publicly posted on a web page, right?
Right. Which I totally agree with, and I completely understand, because like I said, she is, she's this best-selling author, and it's like I'm still getting peanuts.
Yeah, and the way that I would get around that if she does have an issue is tell your prospect, say my client's a best-selling author, and so she doesn't want to reveal that she's ghostwriting, but what I'd be glad to do is write you a short sample piece so that you can.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, so another question that I have about the portfolio. So when I've done writing challenges, etc., I've done drip email sequences. So on the portfolio, do I put the entire drip sequence? I suddenly went blank. Do I
need to put them all in the
right? Not the links to them. I forgot.
Yeah. Here's what I would do, and whenever possible, I don't think anybody needs to see an entire series. Here's what they're looking for when they look at your portfolio, and this is why I think this is relevant to the other question too. If they like what they see in your writing, they might say, "Do you have anything else that's a little more like this?" But they're not going to assume you're lying or trying to trick them. you know, and so they're probably not going to like demand to know who this was for, and they typically don't need to see like a whole series of emails. They want to know that, and you could just in the little brief description of what it was, this is an automated email series with the goal of doing this, written from the perspective of the guru, and delivered over 7 days after someone joins the subscriber list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I was the guru. I mean, this
Okay,
was
that's fine.
yeah, so
written from the written to my personal email list.
So I wouldn't put all like 8 links, for example. I would just put one
No,
or two.
I think, here's the first one, the middle one, and the final one. And if you'd like to see the full one, let me know and I'm happy to send it to you. They're not going to read 3 and go, I bet the other 4 suck. You know what I mean? So you just, you can apply logic and go, they're not looking, they want you to be good. They want you to, they want to believe. And there's nothing about you, Tina, that says shady. And so I don't
Just
think
my hair is shady.
it's called a balayage. It's different.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Fancy word, huh?
I have a daughter.
I told you what I had done to my hair. I said I had done a balayage.
That's right. You did tell me that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did tell me that.
Anyway, one more question. So I wanted to apply for this, and I'm the one laughing now. You got me.
Now you're in a great mood.
So I want to apply for a couple of jobs where I know I can do the work, but I don't have like, the years of experience in writing copy. I have years of experience in writing and in communications and in fiction and, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I don't necessarily have from day one all of my editorial work right up until today. And nor would I ever want to use that. But so when they're asking for, how do I get around that? And I want to tie that in with copy that measures or measurements, controls.
So when they're asking like, how much have you made for your clients? Can you show me results?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, again, the truth is the unfortunate truth in this, and that is that, I would love to show you those numbers. And that's one of the trickiest things about being a freelance copywriter is that clients often don't share the numbers, for a variety of reasons. And, all I can tell you is that, clients have had many repeat clients, and, if you're willing to share the numbers with me after we launch this copy together, I'm all for that. And I can tell you that, depending on the level of engagement you want, I am happy to stay by your side and keep testing things until we get the result we're after.
Right. Okay. So that makes total sense. But and not it's not but so when I go after these jobs that I'm totally qualified for and I am absolutely not qualified for at the same time, can I do that? I'm qualified in terms of writing. The things that I don't know, I can figure out or learn or go on Copy Chief and yell help or take one of the trainings, etc. But I just feel like an idiot.
Okay, I respect that. But really, if what we're saying, if I can reframe that a little bit, is like you're afraid to look like an idiot because you can see a potential where you might be called out and then feel like an idiot. There's no reason to feel like an idiot now. I'll just share this, Tina, and I bet you've seen it.
Oh, wait till they find out.
Well, that's what people who succeed do.
Yeah.
because they just don't believe the rules. You know what I mean? Think
Yeah.
about it. Like people who
Yeah.
just come out of the gate and they go, I don't care how this is supposed to be done. Like, I want that thing. And it's like people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
like sneak their way backstage into concerts and they're like, oh, I've gone to 20 concerts that I didn't have a ticket to. And you're like, what? Like, no, you just pick up something and like walk backstage and look like you're supposed to be there. And I'm not saying like but you just see that it's
No,
possible.
I understand. I understand.
So, but no, let me tell you though, because what I see a lot of, and what I hear, Tina.
He froze.
Oh, we lost Kevin.
We
It was,
lost
it
him.
was an epic moment. The
Am I
only
back?
thing, yeah, you're back. The only thing you need to do to succeed is
Those are always the best videos where people are like, tell me more. I see you putting barriers that you're imagining in front of
Yeah.
you and keeping yourself busy wondering what you'll do when you encounter these barriers. What I'd love to see you do and challenge you to do is imagine that there are literally just not path in front of you and you're just walking, the weather's beautiful, you got a stride, you got your favorite song in your earbuds, and if a car comes,
Yeah.
you're going to step to the side and let it pass, and then you're going to keep walking. And it's most of it is that simple, and it's common sense. And like you said, you've got us here with you to help with whatever comes up. That's why you're in this group, so you got support, and you never have to go it alone. But I would love to free you of the burden of imagining all the things that might tell you you're not allowed to do this, Tina. You are allowed to do this. You've put in your time. You are qualified. So let's forget the not qualified part, because I honestly think that's all in your mind.
Right. So, okay, so then I'm not reaching too high, or I'm not reaching for things that I'm not qualified for yet. Okay.
And if you do, you'll find out, because you go,
Good enough,
I
I
don't even
know.
know what they're talking about. I never even heard of this.
I know.
And then you go, my bad, I'm in the wrong room. I'm gonna go there. That's all. Nobody's gonna ruin your career,
Okay. I think I hit everything that let's see. Yeah, I got everything
Perfect.
done.
We did it in time. All right. Thank you, Tina. We are here for you. So lean on us. All right, cool. We got Yusuf and then Mary. Hey, Yusuf, how are you, man?
Hey, Kev. How's it going?
Good, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah, so one of my goals was to get 2 to 3 retainer clients. I got the first one. It's the agency. The 11, that's good. And yeah, so I'm wondering how to go about getting the second one, because I'm coming across so low quality gigs in, job boards, Facebook groups, whatever it is. So I'm wondering if I'm wasting too much time there.
All right, so let's talk about where you've applied, what kind of feedback you've gotten, and use the current agency as a model so that you're, a little more focused on where to apply. So
you mean where I got the agency?
Yeah, how'd you land that one, and who is it, and what kind of work are you doing? And
it's tier 11, and it's been through Copy Chief.
Great. Yep. Okay,
and I've been working with them for a couple of months, so
Right.
it was just kind of the natural evolution of the gig.
Now, are there others like them where it's specifically, oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm gonna switch networks. Hey, I'll be right back. Hang on. I'm gonna freeze and then I'll be right back.
after these messages.
Okay.
You're back.
I think that'll work better. Are there others like that? I know we've talked about the Facebook thing having its limitations.
Yeah.
Yusuf, right?
So basically, I found a way to kind of positioning in a make it more sexy, I guess.
Okay.
Instead of just saying Facebook ads, I kind of linked it with funnels and cold traffic, and all of a sudden it
Perfect.
becomes, something more appealing, right? So
right.
that's kind of the positioning I'm rolling with right now. But yeah,
As an internal note, Rachel, we have to remember Youssef when we're, because we're starting to build out our Facebook marketing in a more robust manner. Yeah, okay, good. And so have you been able to, okay, when you say you're coming across, like low quality leads, are you sticking to the funnel stuff, or is it just kind of, well, I want to keep busy and I'm applying kind of to everything?
it's more, I would say I stopped doing like kind of everything last week because I signed the retainer last week. So I said, okay, we'll stop doing low quality stuff and let's focus on interesting gigs. And that's why I'm on this call actually. So
All right, great. And where are people finding you and reaching out to you? You have any inbound leads as of yet?
no. That's what I'm working on right now,
Right.
actually, getting those inbound leads. But most of it is outreach right now, sometimes referrals.
Okay, you got your LinkedIn profile here. Because the question I always like to ask is, if I just think of myself, and if I meet somebody tomorrow who's like, hey, I need a Facebook ad copywriter who understands funnels. I'm like, great, Youssef. And where do I send them? I mean, I'll connect you personally, but if I didn't have that ability, how would I tell them to go find you?
Yeah, I just built my website. I didn't
Okay,
have
good.
a website actually, so it went live last week.
Oh, good. What's the URL?
youssefthecopywriter.com.
Great. And again, this is often something we don't have to worry a lot about, but note everybody, if you're like in phase 2-ish, 3-ish, I start wanting to know what kind of online real estate you have when you start to specialize.
Yeah,
That's when it really kind of becomes important. And so I'm glad you have this.
that's
Let's
actually my first piece of real estate on the internet ever.
perfect. Yeah, it's simple like it needs to be. Great. You're giving some examples of your work. You're showing people that you're focused on, yeah, you're putting your work behind put your own money on the line. Here's your portfolio.
Yeah, I'm running traffic to some affiliate offers, just playing around
Great.
with
I love it.
traffic.
I
So,
give
yeah.
that advice all the time. So, you want to learn about marketing, go make it real.
Exactly.
Write a
Like,
sales page and run traffic to it for an
yeah,
affiliate
that's
offer.
exactly what I've done.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, great. So those are good things. And so now, are we doing authority content on here? We got a blog.
That's what I started doing. There are a couple of articles on the website.
Yep.
So I think there are 4 or 5. Yeah, so I started basically I finished RFL last week.
Yep.
I
good.
created a content plan for myself, and I'll be doing 1 article and 1 video per week, and then repurposing that for social media.
Love it, man. Action taker. Very good. One little suggestion, it's not a big deal, but I would just take the comments off the blog articles,
Okay.
because aside of John Carlton, I've never seen anybody get a lot of comments on blog articles, and
Okay.
make them go find you on social media if they want to tell you something, or it just never looks good to have 0 of something. And then, okay, so now you're repurposing the content. So where you do that, and then you'll make a video and that'll go on your YouTube channel. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so the process is I write the article, I record the video, so that's done. And then I take it and I kind of repurpose it for social media, for Facebook groups mainly, and LinkedIn.
Okay,
I make
great.
it shorter and more punchy in a way. And yeah.
This is great, dude. You're doing all the things you should be doing. First of all, we should feature Youssef next, Rachel. And so we'll do that. And so, like you said, it's just a natural process of selection. You're going to stop accepting clients who don't meet your current criteria. I don't see you being someone I'm going to have to keep lecturing about that. Just make sure there's nobody that it doesn't belong, unless you really need the money, and then make sure it's temporary. And you know what I mean? No contract is ironclad. Everything's 14 days, so, take what comes and keep iterating until things get better and better. You've chosen a direction. You're shining a bat signal. It's one that I think is more in demand than there are people. Email is the most saturated. It's also the most active. Facebook to me is the most unsaturated for copywriters. Are you have you reached out to ad managers, people like that on ad skills?
I tried that like a year ago, maybe a couple of months. It didn't work out, but direction I'm taking right now is more going after affiliate managers.
Okay.
I'll be going to the affiliate summit in Barcelona in July.
Cool.
So kind of network there. And
what about are you coming to London by chance when we're
yeah.
there? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, great.
absolutely.
Are you staying around for that event? That's happening.
Which one?
It's called the Marketing Summit. And I'll be real honest with you. I have no idea what this guy's doing.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't want to tell you to buy a ticket to this thing, but it's all affiliate marketers in this guy's world. He's a big deal in the JV Zoo world.
Okay.
I did an event for him in Italy, and it was lovely. He seems like a lovely guy. This event is oddly unorganized, and so I can't endorse it because I have no idea if he's got his stuff together or not. However,
Okay.
I will say, starting Monday is his event. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I don't know how many people will be there. Could be 15, could be 500. I have no idea, but it's all affiliate marketers, and so that might be good for making some connections and things.
Okay, cool.
For what it's worth.
I just
and
set the
then,
link in the chat if you need it, Yusuf.
Okay, cool.
Thanks,
you.
Rachel.
Oh, great. I'm so glad we're gonna see you in London. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, cool. Well, we'll talk more there, and you're on your way. I'm really proud of you, man. Like you're taking action on the things you got to do, and I promise you, this is how it happens. You're thinking about it, you're focusing on it, you're showing your work. I go to your site and I go, here's the guy who's obsessing on Facebook ads and how to write them and how to measure them. He's putting his own money behind it. There's no way you're not gonna get where you're going. No friggin' way, because you're doing the stuff. Really makes me excited and proud for you, man. So let's just keep going, and we'll feature you next.
Okay.
This month, I guess, Rachel, if we've got room, you'll be our featured freelancer. And I think that'll help. And keep posting in Copy Chief if you're not already. Be the Facebook ad guy. Until now, it's only been Mike Renard and Anna, and you already know Anna, and you'll meet her again in person, Sunday. And so be top of mind in her mental Rolodex, and let the whole community know, the only difference is you don't want to just post an article you wrote to a wider audience in Copy Chief. Make it more conversational. At least put a little thing before I go, hey friends, as you know, I've been focused on Facebook ads, and here's an article I wrote. I think you'll like it for these reasons. And then just keep putting it out there, because even if, it's interesting, like 1/4 of our members actually post or engage in a post every month. So that doesn't mean the other people aren't logging in. It just means you know what I mean? It's always an 80-20, and for us, it's more like 25, but that just goes to show you that even if you post something and it doesn't get a ton of engagement, it doesn't mean a lot of people in the community don't know. And when you have a specialty that has more demand than supply, you want as many people in the know to know that you do that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so basically I keep focusing on kind of authority content and bringing inbound leads, and give up on applying to random gigs.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to do if you sometimes 20 random gigs leads to one quality one.
Right.
It's just, it's a lot of bandwidth, and it can be discouraging to talk to clowns all day, who don't want to pay and all that. So you just got to go about it your way. I mean, I talk about Mike Renard. Surprised me actually to find out how he used to send like almost 100 cold outreaches a day. It was insane, getting kicked off of Reddit for being too pitchy. Like if you met Mike, you'd go, what? Never. But that's how determined he was. And there's no wrong way to do it, man, to have conversations with people who might want to hire you. It's just, don't let that feel like this is going nowhere. This is so frustrating because all I'm hearing is no all day, or I'm talking to these low dollar clowns. Ignore them, because you have your criteria, and just the quicker you could filter through them and not let them mean anything, then it's not a waste of time until it is.
Yeah, I can't imagine, just knowing the affiliate marketing world, I can't imagine that if you showed up at one of these conferences with affiliate managers and affiliate professionals, that you wouldn't walk away just the most popular guy in the room. Yeah.
I bet
that's going to be a way better use of your time.
I think Rich Sheffrin is speaking there too, and he's pretty genius. And to know this guy Simon, who I'll be happy to introduce you to, and like he's a big shot in that world. And again, these would not be the best clients, but some of them have been pretty successful, and so all connections are good connections. There's people I met early on who are still, I consider friends, even though we never did business together. It's just good to build a network. So,
also connect with Anna, because I know that she is getting super selective with the project she takes on, and she's posted an accelerator a couple of times that she has clients coming to her that she'd like to recommend someone to. So definitely connect with her and see if.
Yeah, actually, I'm friends with Anna, and she refers people to me from time to time.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah.
I figured she would, Cool. Does that help you? I know I just basically cheered you on, but you don't have a problem. You're doing the right stuff.
Yeah. No, that was great. That was helpful, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Good. Cool. All right. I'll see you Sunday, man.
Yeah.
So fun that I get to say that. Cool, buddy. All right. We'll see you there. Let's talk to Mary.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm bummed I'm going to miss the London event. It sounds like it's going to be great.
It is going to be a lot of fun. That's all right. September. I hope we see you in September.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Just wanted to check in. I just started, and I got tired of listening to myself complain about my 9-to-5 job. So I set an end date of July 1st.
Wow, good for you.
So now I'm just thinking forward to try to figure out what comes next. And I want to push myself to go a little bigger than I normally would.
Okay.
My past experience with no clowns. So just could use some advice, kind of thinking about how to add to the Moxie into the mix.
Okay, cool. So the good thing with Moxie is obviously, you're writing a lot, and I know you mentioned, trying to get a schedule that works for you. That's a really good thing to be focused on right now, especially since you have a timeline of April. So May, June, July, 3 months essentially, right?
Yeah.
That's a really nice, I mean, it's a clean quarter.
Yeah.
It's good. So, and I always talk about, to the best of our ability, we have to start practicing being our own boss before it happens, because that's one of the most challenging parts. Is suddenly you have all this time on your hands. It's like the greatest thing that suddenly turns into the most overwhelming thing, because it's like, it's scary to have time on your hands when like you're the only one who could pay yourself now, right? It's like, why are you sitting around? You're these conversations.
Worst
with
boss
yourself.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you say you're struggling, not struggling, but it's finding it challenging. So how is the Moxie work fitting in now with your full-time job?
Yeah, I've got a chunk of time in the mornings that I'm focused on working for them.
Mhm.
And the turnaround times are pretty tight. So I have to really kind of go, okay, check the research, check the website, right? So
Right.
so far
So
I've just had a couple projects, so I'm just kind of getting the hang of
Okay.
it, but I think it'll be good. So
yeah.
I feel like I can't really do a lot until I get to my date.
Right. So
And then, so I'm just kind of trying to think ahead of, okay, what's the next logical thing that I can plan for or think about?
So like one thing you can do is, again, if we look at the profit pie, right? Like
Yeah.
it's very small right now because the percentages are, you don't have, 100% of your time and energy to give to it. And so it's part-time, but can you still get all three categories in to some degree? And so for instance, I don't know what your time is like on weekends, but one thing I love is Saturday mornings to treat, Saturdays are great because no one's bothering you. It's your day, but Sunday's like, I don't know, it's hard to get motivated on a Sunday. I love working Saturday mornings when I need to, because it's just, I don't know, it just feels like quality time. And so one thing you could potentially do is take like 3 hours on Saturday mornings and say, what are the 3 things I can do for an hour each, or even if it's just an hour and a half, 30 minutes each, that are going to prepare me to, help me create momentum for before July happens. And that's basically building your inbound lead, similar to what Yusef's doing, right? Have you chosen a specialty, or you?
I'm kind of seeing what happens as I work with Moxie to see, hey, I like that. I'm gonna good at that.
Yeah.
The Facebook ad thing kind of appeals to me. I've been following Anna and I love what she does. I just saw her email about Copy Chief, the
Yeah.
London event morning, but just learning from folks at this point.
Yeah, that's a great one. And so what I would do is, if I had 3 hours, or even let's say 90 minutes, I mean, I would spend 30 minutes writing an ad. I would force myself, which you're probably having to do now for Moxie anyway, to write an ad for something, a product that maybe you want to write about. Like, what's the last thing that you maybe even bought off of Facebook from an ad and loved? Or what, like for me, like right now, I'm literally, look at this, Rachel's gonna crack up. Look, I had to get this for the plane. We stayed at the Virgin Hotel, and like, I am so blown away by this brand now, and my whole experience there. Like, and it's so great that they're actually telling me what they do. So it's like, what's a product you've recently fallen in love with? Write something. So that kind of takes care of like the rev and the motev, or the dev and the motev together, because you're feeling joy as you write about this thing. And then maybe you can even, and then so like so maybe it's like, okay, because I never get enough time to research like I'd like to for these Moxie things, I'm going to give myself that. I'm going to spend 30 minutes researching. I'm going to spend 30 minutes writing, and then I'm going to spend 30 minutes writing about one takeaway from those exercises and turn it into an article. So now I have some authority content. And then I'm going to, do you have a website up now?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then, so I'm going to add that to my blog there. And
my blog that isn't started yet. So it's time to start a blog maybe. There's some material for.
Yeah. And look, let's be real. Like, maybe people come and they read our blogs, but it's there to show that we're doing stuff. It's a way to show our work, and it's a way to experiment with how do we show our work in a way that's interesting to us. And maybe, and it's also like a placeholder for our lessons Mary, if you're not ready to also start a YouTube channel, or, you don't need all those things right now, but it'd be cool to, like, I always buy these gadgets that help me put my camera like interesting places.
Yeah.
So like, I got one over there, like on the bookshelf, and I actually bought this one for the car, but I'm never in the car anymore. I used to make all these great car videos. Losing my commute was not good for me. I was when I had an office I used to drive to, I did so many more videos. But like just the good thing about video these days is like you don't ever have to post it. You can practice for free. That'd be another cool challenge we could have, Rachel, and accelerators, like for those who hate video, the I hate video challenge or something. It's like, fortunately once a week you have to post up a video. It's just gonna be like a 2-minute, a best thing or whatever, and just get used to doing it, because there's nobody in this world that you won't look at their first video compared to their 10th, compared to their 30th, 50th, 100th, and see a world of difference. It just becomes instinctive. Again, Mary, if you don't ever want to do video, you don't have to do video. I think you'd be great on video. You have a nice demeanor. Everybody, if they're comfortable on video, it's a good thing to do. And so those are things you can be doing now to create momentum, because what I don't want to have happen is all of a sudden July comes and you've been thinking about more traditional ways to market your business or do cold outreach and these things, which are also important. But I would love it if you feel like an authority ready to burst out of the gates, found your specialty and you're focused on that. I think you'll have so much natural momentum before July even gets here, rather than all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, I just stopped that other money from coming in and now I get all this pressure and now I get all this time and nothing I'm doing feels like enough. And you know what I mean? We can totally overthink every hour in our day if we do it that way.
I really like that suggestion too. I could just decide that this is what I'm going to do. Well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, and getting to July and going, oh my God, all this time on my hands, I need to make more money. But have it feel good and go, okay, well, I'm laying the groundwork now.
Yeah. And get in the practice of
so
really,
that when I'm ready.
Right. And a big part of this, remember, is that you have to decide.
Yeah.
I could tell you what to do on those, 3 hours or 90 minutes, but that's not going to be as useful as you having to decide and actually execute. That is, I think, the hardest part of being a freelancer, is like we have to discipline ourselves into sitting down and doing the work when we don't want to, when we don't feel in it, when there's distractions. There's always 10 reasons to not do it. That's the like taming the stallion part of it,
Right. Thank you. That's a really good suggestion.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I like that. And document your process too. Like this will be really valuable for other people who are in the same scenario. I think this is one of the biggest parts of freelancing that I've talked a little bit about, that most people need to hear more of, is like, how do you practice going pro before you go pro? And that's what this is.
Right.
So I'd love for you to be a student of this and show us what you're learning. Help me teach it better by reporting, what struggles come up along the way. I'd love that.
Because there's a lot of folks in this phase that are doing the same thing. It's like, oh, how do I get out of this 9-to-5 thing? But doesn't it sound like freedom?
Right.
Fun. It's like, oh wait, now I have to be a professional about it. So.
Yeah, it's I certainly don't pretend to know what it's like to have a baby, but I imagine it's a little like postpartum, where you can't imagine being anything but elated, and suddenly you're a little depressed, and you're like, what is wrong with me? Yeah. And then you realize, oh God, this is actually normal, but how do I know I have the normal kind? And like it's similar to that, where you get what you asked for, and now you're like, oh shit, this is kind of work. Like it's on me. I got to do all of it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So prepare for that, and I think that'll be a really good way to spend your time.
Thank you.
All right. Good stuff, Mary.
I love how there's always like a theme emerges on these calls. And like today's definitely the mental game of the business. But it's thank you guys so much for asking these questions, because it seems like when it comes to the mental stuff, like, oh, I'm not confident on my pricing, or like, how do I ask someone for permission to use their work in my portfolio, or this kind of stuff that Mary's talking about, it can feel like you're just dealing with it on your own and it's just your own baggage and stuff like that. But everyone thinks about this stuff and it's hard to articulate. So you guys bringing this to the hot seats is so helpful for everyone else, because you're helping them articulate something that they feel might be a challenge, but they're not sure how to get out or not sure what's blocking them. So thank you guys for just being transparent and being vulnerable and bringing these issues, because I guarantee you're not the only ones thinking about it.
That's the truth. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. All right. So let's please like leave here and go to your progress journal and just, I don't care how many words you write. I just want you to be in the habit of updating it. Again, the more you share, the more you put it in the front of your mind, the more you feel like you can do something with it. And the more you're teaching your comrades in here what you're up to, what you might need help with, how they can be recommending you. So let's use the power of this community. David, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming on even late. It's always great to see you. Reach out anytime I can help, brother. I know you got a lot going on. And so maybe jump on a hot seat next one. You can jump on the 4 and 5 call in 2 weeks too, if you want to jump on a hot seat there. Cool. All right, everybody. Appreciate you. Another great one. And I'll see you on the next one after London. Look for photos. I'll be sharing. See you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.